Good evening, everybody. Oh, I've got a bit of an echo. 2 seconds. That might resolve that issue. And good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Tonight we are in season 4, episode 6. I'm afraid our guest tonight hasn't been able to make it to us. A little bit of a shame, but I'm sure he will rebook and come on the show at a later date. So we'll wait for that. Not an issue. You've got me chatting to you for now. If you've got an echo, let me know. If the quality dips, let me know, and I shall do what I can to resolve it. I've had a few tricks shown to me and things like that. So yeah, just let me know how it goes. But it should be not too bad right now. And a massive welcome to everyone signed in, chatting away. Just want to say hello to everyone on all the different channels, and hello everyone in the future listening to Spotify or listening back to any of the channels that we're on. You know what I mean. And a massive thank you to everyone for signing in, even though there's not going to be a guest and you just got to put up with me again. A massive thank you to our sponsors. Ants Are Us, absolutely brilliant ant shop. I go there all the time for anything that I haven't got myself, basically, because obviously I've got my ant shop. But I always highly recommend checking out what Ants Are Us has got going, because he's got lots of different stock coming and going constantly. It's amazing. Check it out. Anyways, on with stream. Let's have a little chat. What's everyone been up to? The weather's sort of iffy. We might get nuptial flight soon. It's in that the right time of year. You know, it's sort of humidity and sort of. But maybe in a month's time, it would have been better. Expect the warm again, and it will be absolutely fine for nuptial flights before long. Who's excited for nuptial flights, and what's everyone hoping to catch? Has anyone got some new ants? I know, Roger, you were just telling me that you've got some new ants. That's absolutely awesome. I've actually got some new ants coming as well. I'm not going to necessarily do lots of videos on them. I'll probably do a little introduction video, but I'm mainly saving all my new ant colonies to show off at the exhibition. Some of them are going to grow quite large. Some of them are still small, but it's what's going to be easy to transport for me. So, yeah, I've got quite a few colonies that are going to be shown off as exhibits, and there's going to be quite a few other exhibits at the exhibition as well. It's going to be super exciting. I am absolutely blown away with the way the exhibition's starting to look. Like, I'm starting to do the proper maps and things like that, and it's looking really cool. I got to get the banners and things like that made to actually make it look the part now. But London had a nuptial flight a few days ago. Now that is interesting. Ooh. Now, like I've obviously I keep my eyes on the floor constantly, and I've always got test tubes on me, but there hasn't been anything around me yet. Now I'm in Dorset at the very bottom of the UK, not too far from London, so that's quite interesting. You know what I mean? But last time we had a nuptial flight here, and then it was a few days later it happened further up the coast in Southampton. So it's sort of as and when, but it's interesting. Ant Ramblings posted a few days ago. I must have missed that, to be honest. I was quite ill a few days ago, actually. During the last stream, I need to apologize for that. The last stream, I was so unwell, I actually pretty much fell asleep while streaming. Absolutely awful, and I do apologize for that stream, but I was really, really unwell. And yeah, I've missed out on quite a bit of news and whatnot, and since then I've just been working my butt off putting things together for the exhibition. Yeah, like I say, it's starting to look really cool with the maps, and what I've got like in my head is now on paper, and yeah, it's looking really good. We're hopefully going to have that finalized, or pretty much finalized list out end of this week. Hopefully the end of this week. I'm just waiting for a few emails back and things, really. Although they've all said that they are coming, I wanted to double check that they're still coming. You know what I mean? It's been a while since I spoke to quite a few of these people. So yeah, but it is looking good. The maps come together pretty well. And like I said, I need to get the actual banners and things like that made next to actually make it look the part. but it is starting to like come together really cool. I think it's going to be a brilliant event, and I've managed to sort out where I'm staying for that event as well. I'm staying at a campsite not too far away from Bristol. So if anyone else wanted to stay at the same campsite, you're more than welcome to private message me on any of my social medias, and I can sort that out for you at probably a discounted rate. They're really, really great there. I'm not going to say where I'm going to be, or not live anyways, but yeah, they're really great there. It's not too far from Bristol, close enough to the event for the next day, you know, and that's where we'll be leaving from. And they're well aware of the event as well, so they're probably no tickets. They are limited, but we've got hundreds, so don't worry about that. You can like turn up on the day, and there will still be tickets on sale. So don't worry about that. If you buy online, even on the day, use the discount code that's floating about. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's floating about. You'll get £5 off every ticket you buy. So that's like £15 to £10 ticket, you know. So over, if you buy like 4 tickets, you're saving 20 quid. You know what I mean? It makes a difference. So make sure you take advantage of that, because if you just turn up on a day and pay for a ticket at the door, you'll be charged the whole ticket price. What was I saying? I can't remember, but yeah. Oh yeah. If you wanted to stay at the same campsite, I can probably get you a discounted rate there as well, and it's cheap as chips anyways. So it's absolutely brilliant. The landowner's absolutely brilliant, but it is a campsite. I'm not doing a hotel. I'm not fancy, you know what I mean. As long as I can put my head down before I got to run about for the day, then I'm absolutely fine. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like I say, there's going to be so much going on. There's loads of vendors on the list, loads of guest speakers, content creators, other things happening in the nucleus. I've called it the nucleus because there's just so much happening there, like the bioactive build. I'm going to be doing a live stream from there. All sorts of things going to be happening from there. You know, it's going to be brilliant. There's food sorted. And yeah, it's going to be a really good, fun event. I'm excited anyways. It's like I say, a labor of love. And what was it? I found a post earlier it was like over a year ago when I first mentioned about putting on some kind of convention. It was something like, oh, I'm just putting the feelers out. And I looked at the post, I was like, God, this was a long, like, takes me back to the very start, you know, very start of putting ideas together for it. Yeah. So it's been a long time coming. It's brilliant. I'm really happy that it's all coming together, you know. I'm excited. I'm super excited. And I know a lot of the viewers of this channel are quite excited as well. And just people in general, there's lots of people quite excited about it. It's been quite surprising, some of the responses and emails I've had about how cool the event is. Like, I've done quite a big bit of publicity and things like that, and yeah, it's really encouraging, we could say. I'm just looking at my list of things. I actually haven't got a massive amount to talk to you about tonight because I was expecting to have an interview, which is a bit of a shame, but I do have things to talk about, obviously. And if you've got any questions for me, feel free to ask them. I am making it clear that that list will be coming out hopefully the end of this week. Like I say, I'm just waiting back for a few more emails to say they're definitely coming, so I can just put the proper list out. You know, I don't want to be putting halves out and stuff. But what is in front of me right now looks amazing. Let me just say it. I'm so happy, and I think it's going to be absolutely packed. Like the room itself is going to be really filled with lots of stuff. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, how are everyone's colonies doing? Has anyone had any massive growth spurts? Anyone had any die-offs lately? I know I haven't had much happen, to be honest. My colonies are just all kind of ticking along. Nothing like this, like it's not really doing a lot. You know what I mean? They're all ticking along. doing exactly what they should be doing, slowly growing, not massive. No, I don't feed and feed and feed. I never power feed my colonies really because I don't need that really fast growth, you know. The ones in front of you, this isn't even power feeding. This is like their normal diet and how it's increased over time due to the size of the colony. They are massive. I don't know how many ants are in the Polyrhacus dives in the tank in front of you right now. I'm hoping the camera quality is good enough that you can actually see what's going on. I'm gonna say possibly 4,000 to 6,000, maybe. I'm not sure. Honestly, it's really hard to say. I know in the nest, even though it looks like there's quite a few out now, that's not even close to their numbers. It's absolutely crazy when you disturb the nest or when they're really hungry and you put like a big juicy roach down or something. Wow, it's impressive, you know, really impressive how they come out in their numbers. It's going to be interesting one day when it comes to moving this tank to a new location. It's going to be very interesting and probably quite expensive. Now, I can't pronounce Latin words, but I can say that you got your first Camponotus linen. My mouth literally won't let me say it. Liniper. Bear in mind, I ain't even got teeth. It's actually quite hard even to get words out sometimes because like teeth just help for some reason. I don't know, but yeah. So saying that, my mouth is just collapsing in on itself. You got your first worker this week. That is brilliant. Liniperda. Thank you, Cat. Liniperda. Ligniper. I was still saying it wrong, but yeah, those ones. I'm an ant keeper that can't say the ant words. It's ridiculous. But what was I saying? Yeah, no, that's really cool. Camponotus are such a pain to get workers sometimes. And even when they do get workers, they're slow until they really get going. I mean, I've failed with a few Camponotus colonies. Not failed, but I'm still waiting on one of my Herculinus colonies that I said that one that I've been waiting for like a year and a half for them to get past 10 workers. Is ridiculous. My Japicanus, they came to me with 3 workers. They're now up to about 5, so they're doing okay. My Camponotus creataris, however you pronounce that one, not good, right? So the workers, so the test tube was attached to the outworld. The outworld also had acorn ants living in it. It's been absolutely fine. They've not bothered each other at all. 2 ant colonies, 1 formicarium. Boom, it worked, right? But then it didn't work at the same time. The workers. When should you start putting through? I would start putting just the tiniest little bit of honey in now, and maybe even the tiniest little bit of protein. Obviously, let them finish or clean up whatever is left there before putting in the new one. Don't let them mix. And I would even give them a day or so between the feeds as well, so that they can eat the honey, use the honey that's in their stomach, then they can fill up on the protein and use that as they need it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're trying to give them protein and honey at the same time. They just ain't got that much room with only one worker social stomach. But that's my opinion. Other people would say opposite. So yeah, my Creataris really, the wife just came in and distracted me. Could you tell? It really annoying. So they workers abandoned the queen. They took all the brood and everything out of the test tube and into the natural kind of setup that is going on in the outworld, right, where the acorn ants live. Sorry, I got completely lost on my track before. So yeah, the acorn ants live in this natural kind of outworld that's going on. Test tubes attached to it. Workers have abandoned the queen, taken the brood and everything, and just gone and south. Now there's not subs for them to dig into. They can probably hide in moss if they want to, but they can really nest in that outworld. But the acorn ants, being so much smaller, can. They just live in a piece of driftwood, and it's absolutely fine. Like they occasionally interact, but generally the acorn ants scare the Camponotus away, and they're like, "Whoa, what's that small thing in front of me?" And they just walk backwards, and that's that. But that they've never had an issue between them. It's really interesting. The two ant colonies living side by side, and they even share meals, and they're not bothered at all. But so then the Camponotus queen, I was like, "Oh no, what do I do?" And it's been 2 or 3 days. I know that they haven't been back in to see her, and she's in there on her own, not looking too happy. So I thought, all right, I'll disconnect the test tube and I'll just pop it straight in the Outworld, which I did, thinking that the workers would reunite themselves with the Queen in the test tube, come and go like a tubs and tubes setup, and everything would be fine. It did not go like that. It did not go like that at all. The next thing I know, the workers were killing all the brood. Then they disappeared completely. I can't find them anywhere, but the queen was just sat outside, kind of like baking herself in lights. So, what do you do in that situation? All the workers count. I had lifted the moss. I went through the enclosure. I have no idea where they are. They can't have got out because they just can't. It's a secure enclosure. But where are they? No idea where they are. So that's interesting. But the queen was completely on her own, baking herself in the sun. So what I decided to do was I retubed her. I gave her a little meal, put some cotton in, and she's back on the shelf, starting again. I've also got a Herculinus queen that hasn't laid eggs since I got her, probably about a year and a half ago. I don't think she's going to. I've been tempted to just pop her into a natural formicarium, and like one of my plant pots or something, and just see what happens. She's obviously not going to do anything in the test tube, so see what happens. But Camponotus are just one of those genuses that can just be a bit finicky. I mean, Nicobarensis, I've got some Nicos, they're doing really well. Nicos generally do. I'm going to have some large Nico. I'm going to have some Nico colonies for sale soon. I'm going to say that because I'm not going to say much more. But they are coming to the website very soon. They're just going through their quarantine phase at the moment. We've got quite a few interesting new species coming to the website. So yeah, but Nicos are going to be there. Multiple queen colonies as well. So that's really cool. We've generally had a massive restock on most things at the moment. So yeah, that's handy. Lots of stuff is going to be uploaded. I've been so busy on the exhibition, I haven't looked at the website. I haven't done much YouTubing, but the exhibition really looks like it's going to be awesome now. I know a lot of you have already bought your tickets, so a massive thank you for supporting as well. If you haven't bought your tickets, I say, don't worry. There's loads of tickets available. They're £15 a ticket. Use the discount code that's floating about. Send me a message if you can't find it. But I am trying to post it absolutely everywhere. It takes a £5 off your ticket, so you only pay £10 a ticket, and that's from every ticket that you buy. Under 13s are completely free as well. I've got cheap discount. I can get you at a campsite that's just outside of Bristol, so on and so forth. If you need any help with organization of getting to the event and stuff, just give me a message. I know all the transport links. I've done the research. I can help you out. I will be putting, like I say, full lists and updates out on the website and stuff like that really, really soon, because I know lots of people are waiting for the full list before buying their ticket as well, which is completely fair enough. But that's going to be, like I say, that's coming as soon as I'm confident it's not, no one's going to drop out, if you know what I mean, because I don't want to say people are definitely going to be there and they're not there, because that's just bad, isn't it? And let's be honest, right, I'll level with you. There's 2 large ant shops that we are waiting on hearing back from. One of them we won't hear back from until mid-July, which is absolutely fine. They made me aware of that a long time ago. Absolutely fine, not an issue. and that will be probably the last one that's entered onto the sheet. But apart from that, everyone else should be letting me know this week, because obviously, like I said, I spoke to him quite a long time ago. I just wanted to check with everyone. Now, something's really interesting. Like, a spider has made its way, like a normal house spider, has made its way into the diachama, the Asian bullet ants enclosure, and caught itself an ant. And it is literally wrapping it up right now in front of my eyes. Wow. That's quite interesting. I wouldn't have thought a normal UK house spider would take on an Asian bullet ant, but you never know what happens in nature. Might have got a lucky strike from the back, or even just caught it in a web. Maybe it was climbing glass, fell off into some web. I don't know. I'll have to investigate after the stream, but I think that's quite interesting. I haven't seen it many times. I've seen it a few times, probably enough to count on both hands and feet, when a spider's actually wrapping up its prey. And it's always intrigued me. Now, I'd love to get like a big tarantula or big spider or something like that. I'm sure it will happen. The other day, I caught a huntsman. I think it was a huntsman. Like, I'm not a massive spider knowledge person, but I'm pretty sure it was a huntsman. And it was in our bedroom, right? So I just put it in one of the potted closures like you do. And I kept it there for a day or two, fed it some fruit flies. I'm not sure if they drink, so I put some water on a cotton wool, popped that in it, in the enclosure, and just kind of watched it for a day or two. And it was really interesting the way it hunted these flightless fruit flies and so on. And the wife didn't hate it too much. So maybe the next thing is to go, look, I bought this. Or if someone wants to donate me a spider, you know what I mean, then I can't say no, can we? So that might happen at some point, and then we'll move up the chain slowly. You know, we'll take it slow. We'll get a big one to start with, and then we'll get a really big one. Take it slow. But watching this is just absolutely awesome. The spider's just spinning it round in like midair, and it's quite interesting actually. There seems to be I'm gonna have to show you. There's loads of other ants kind of accumulating at the bottom of the web. Hold on. It's a little bit like the glass isn't great to see through at the minute, but there's the spider, there's the one it's caught. Look, there's quite a few ants sort of like accumulating at the bottom of it, like maybe trying to help it get down. I'm not sure, but it's still moving. And there's the spider. It's not even like a big nasty one, it's just a long-legged one. They're definitely not trying to like save their buddy, aren't they? I think that's super interesting. Must be sending out like distress pheromones. Ooh. Are we back? Can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry about the echo and whatever at the end. It's because as I picked it up, I pressed the volume button and then it went whoa, 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 whoa. You know what echoes do. Why am I even telling you? But yeah, I apologize for that. That was my bad handling of the camera, but super cool and interesting. Like I say, that ant is actually still trying to work its way out of the web. Really cool. I hope you all got a view of that. I'm not sure what it looked like on the screen because I couldn't see. But yeah, really, really interesting, I think so. Has anyone else got any other ant information, stories, or anything going on at the minute? I mean, I suppose if I get into it, I have really got lots going on. I've always got lots going on, but you get so kind of used to it. You're doing it every day for so long, you know. You become acclimatized to it, I suppose. And that ant is literally climbing out of the wrapped up web. Like it's just got its tail left in it. The rest of its body is completely clear. Wow. That's so cool. I didn't know they could do that. He's pretty much worked his way out of it. Very interesting. Poor spider. That spider thought he was going to get an easy meal. It's really not. That ant is fighting back good and proper. We seem to have 4 viewers at the moment, all on YouTube. If you're here, give us a wave, say hello. We might do a duck race if all 4 of you are active and want to play. If not, I'm just going to keep drinking this Relentless because it's horrible stuff. Do not drink Relentless. I'm pretty much using it to like burn the fire at both ends, I think is the term. Burn the candle. No, I'm burning a fire at both ends. Yeah, big old log. There's a term, right? They say when you know about my training, I train in a gym loads. And they say when you train in a gym, it's just like you're putting on another log onto the pile. Every time you go to the gym, you're just putting another log on the pile. And then when you go to a competition, you got to burn all those logs and just everything you've got, everything that you've put into it comes out at the competition. Sort of same thing, isn't it? I just been working on the exhibition instead of competition. I've literally, just plowing so much energy into it at the minute. I think it's really starting to look cool. Things that I can say though, if you are any good with graphics and logos and things like that, feel free to get in contact with me. Preferably do it for free. I have got a logo that I've put together myself. It's very basic, but it will do the job for now. But obviously, if I can get a much better one made before the show and before we get the t-shirts and stuff done, then that would be absolutely brilliant. If not, it's just going to be this one that I've made myself, which I have no problem with. Some other people might, but I don't mind my artwork. It is what it is. And so on and so forth. If I had a massive budget, if someone wants to donate me £2,000, then I'll get it all done professionally and what, you know. But that's not the case. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it as it is. But that's where we're at the minute. If someone wants to get involved and make it look better, then more than welcome to. End of the day, I appreciate any help. I've done a lot of it on my own. Apart from Answer Us did sponsor the show, and he's been amazingly helpful throughout the whole process. But a lot of like the organisation and everything else I've done myself. Now it seems no one's very active at the moment, so we're not going to do a duck race. I'm going to tell you about a game I've been playing lately. Now, it's kind of insect-based. It's Worms. Has anyone played Worms before? I'm sure if you're my age, you've definitely played Worms. But if you're not my age, you need to play Worms if you haven't. Basically, it's a great game, and the best thing about it is you can play 2-player, passing the controller between you and your loved ones, or whoever's sat next to you. So yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. I've been playing against a wife, but I've just worked out, right? And this is thanks to one of my moderators, admins, staff, absolute legend. He will be working at the exhibition as well, so that's going to be awesome. He's going to be helping me out with many roles. So a massive thank you to him. But he showed me that I can add people as friends with gamer tags. Someone mentioned this before, and I have no idea what it was, but I told him my name, and he found me, and now we're friends, right? I didn't know you could do that, and he can send me messages. But I am so slow at replying. It is much easier to send me a message on normal social media. I'll say that. And yeah, you can add friends on there, and then you can battle on Worms and other things as well. But we did Worms, and Worms is just such a great game for so if anyone wants a game of Worms, I'm playing WMD, I think it is, or DM or whatever, that one. Give me a shout and we'll have a game. And like, I'm going to say it now, and it sounds really big headed, but this is to get someone to play against me, right? Yes, I've only played against my wife and kids and one game against my moderator. I have not lost a game. Oh, out of, I can tell you, probably a good 100 or so games, I haven't won. Now, I'm not saying I'm invincible, unbeatable, or even very good, but I'm much better than all of them. So someone's got to come on here and challenge me to a game and show me how it's really played. Or just come on and let me whip your butt, because it's going to happen. I'm pretty good at that game. Bit of an expert at it, I think Daddy Pig used to say. I don't know. But yeah, so if you fancy a game of Worms, just let me know. The wife is coming in again. It's really hard when the wife comes in, because she comes in, she does stuff in the corner of my eye, right? Like now, she's in the corner of my eye doing stuff, and she's making noise and stuff, and I can't even concentrate. Should we just stare at her until she leaves? There we go. She's left. That's better. She knows I love her, but it's hard to concentrate when she's doing stuff in the same room, which is really interesting. Actually, I will be I think I might have mentioned I am moving at some point. When we move, the setup will be different. The tanks and stuff will all be in different places, obviously, in a different location. So everything will be different. Hopefully, the streaming location, you'll see ants all around me, all the different colonies. I'll be able to stream all the different colonies and the different setups, and it'll be much more better laid out. I'm not going to call it a whole ant room dedicated to ants, because it won't be, but it will be a whole ant room dedicated to ants that we live in. You know, bear in mind, I've got a large family. I do have 3 kids. Beautiful as they are, they do take up space, and I can't just have a whole room to my ants, which I would love to do. Before the kids came along, yeah, I had so much cool stuff in my room. I had my drum kit. We had a big chest freezer thing. We had one of them. I had my drum kit, a chest freezer. Basically, everything I wanted was in this room, and it was my room, and it was awesome. My aunts were in their Xbox stuff, but yeah, that was my room. It was awesome. And what I wanted to do was get one of those Nerf guns, get the Nerf machine gun thing, set it up on top of the chest freezer, wait for people to knock on the door, open the door, go because it was like straight down the hallway that you could. Awesome. But I never made good on that. It didn't ever happen, but it would have been great fun. Yeah, so that was in like my flat many years ago, before we had kids, and where we actually had the kids as they were babies. And as you can imagine, my drumming / hobby / whatever, my room became a child's room. We put a cot in there, and then there became more and more toys, and then another child, and then more children appeared, and then we had to move because there was too many children for our 2-bedroom flat. And it was madness. But once upon a time, me and my wife just lived on our own with no children. Can you believe that? It's hard to believe, because it was nearly 10 years ago. That, like, my eldest is nearly 10. That is scary. Like, wow. Makes me feel old, right? But I did work out, when she's like No, when the middle one is going to be looking to leave, I'll be in my 40s, which isn't too bad, I suppose. Yeah, we got it done early because then, like, I had a good job at the time, and then we thought the wife can do the kids, then she can get a good job, and we can just carry on working and not have to like take time off for kids. You know what I mean? So we got it done nice and early, and to be honest, I think we don't regret it. Like, it might have been nice to do it a bit later, but we don't regret the way we've done it. It's definitely worked out nicely because we've got to. I've had the energy to run about, and let's be honest, with my health conditions, I might not have that energy for many more years. Which is another good reason why I put on this event so like important. Like, it was so important to get this event going now. It's going to set the precedent for many more events in the future. We're already looking at planning the second event. Things are starting to come together. Vendors are starting to show interest. Other people are starting to show interest already. So next year's events they're going to be just as awesome, probably even bigger than this one. You know me, I never go small on anything. So, yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. We're hopefully going to have 2 to 3 events next year, depending on obviously budget, time, and everything else. And then I've got lots of smaller events that you will be able to find me at. Conventions, trade shows, exhibitions, but also I'm going to be doing little events around me, little educational events and other stuff. Most of it's going to be completely free to come along to. So if you are local to me, or even just passing by, or fancy a day trip out, then have a look on the website or give me a message and see if I've got something coming up. Because you're more than welcome to pop along to most things. You know, I do little workshops and all sorts of stuff now. It's really cool, really interesting. We take the ants, we don't take loads of them. We just take a few of the more hardy colonies. We take other insects like millipedes and isopods. We give little talks and educational stuff about it. It's really interesting and fun. And like I say, you're more than welcome to pop along and see what it's about. Meet me and a few of the team, because the Ants on the Rock team is constantly growing at the moment. It is. I don't always dive into it, but we have staff and not staff, we could say, but members of our support network doing all sorts of roles, always doing things for me. So it's always handy, and a massive shout out to them, because there's some people out there helping out. This isn't going to be a massively long stream tonight. Like I said, I'm already starting to run out of things to talk to you about. So I'm probably going to be calling it before too long. Give me a message if you do have anything to ask, anything to talk about. If you've got any questions about your ants, or anything going on with your ants, any issues. We've had some great news about first workers arriving and new colonies being owned. Any issues tonight? Is anyone struggling? I know I've had some interesting experiences with my other insects. Actually, my roaches keep getting out for a start. I cannot work it out because I've meshed the holes and all sorts, but they've got out a few times. Unless ones that I found were trying to get back in from the first escape. I'm not sure. Thank you very much, Antisocial. That's really kind of you. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, actually. So my roaches, what it is they had a stick, like, because obviously I chuck in all my cuttings and leaf litter and everything that like is cut away. I just chuck it in for either the isopods or the roaches. They love it as it mulches down and it makes everything fertile. It's sort of, I'm not going to give away all my secrets, but I use a lot of that mix when I'm making natural terrarium stuff, because it's so fertile. It's already got the bioactivity and spirit in there. And also, it's really great. Really great that I can all the extra leaves and stuff. But the leaves had fallen off, but the stick had just left itself, pointing straight up through the hole, giving them an escape. And I don't know how many roaches escaped. I've got big ones, little ones, medium ones. There's thousands of roaches in this box. I don't know how many escaped, but they were on the floor, and the wife was not happy at all. But we sorted that, and we've meshed over the holes, and then we found a few more. But like I say, they might have been trying to work their way back in from the first escape. It might be another escape. I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye on it. And that, yeah, we'll see what happens. I've built myself another smaller enclosure, little natural enclosure for my isopods in a nice little tank. I haven't actually done a video on it, so I probably will at some point. Just give you a little tour of what I've built. It's nothing amazing. It's just really basic for the isopods, but it's a nice tank that I can take with me to my workshops and things like that. And like I said, it's a good way of showcasing it to mainly the younger folk, and getting them interested in the insects and the natural world around them, the sort of impacts that they have on it as well. You know, it's all great educational stuff, and I think it's valuable for them to hear. Good evening, Sarah. Thank you for popping in. I'm just reading that. I finally stopped my millipedes. Your millipedes have your bumblebee millipedes have been escaping. I have to sellotape the entire tank every night, and then just make sure what. That okay, so there must be I've never had an issue with my bumblebees. I've still got them in this tank right in front of you, and they very rarely come up to the surface. I will say, when they do, they feed, then they go back down. They don't really climb. But your setup is very different to mine, obviously. As for isopod, Dean is sick of getting them off the floor. At least 30 rescues a day. See, I don't have that issue. I've heard like powder blues get everywhere, apparently. I've never had that issue. Like I've got 4 different species of isopods. They pretty much live next to each other all the time. Not an issue. They've never bred or intermixed in the boxes, you know what I mean. The enclosure I've just built has got 2 species living in there. They'll be absolutely fine next to each other, not an issue. I did double check, obviously, and did my research beforehand. But I've been keeping them both for quite a long time. I kind of know what I'm doing now. But I've never found them getting out of the boxes or intermixing. I know they are amazing climbers, but I think the talcum powder barriers that we used, they absolutely rock the world for most insects. I don't know what it is. It's just that, you know, whatever goes over it is going to come tumbling down, basically. I always recommend in the big glass enclosures, use the talcum powder. It's better than the oils. It's better than fluons and stuff. Talcum powder and rub and alcohol is absolutely spectacular. And that's what I use in my bigger enclosures, like the isopods, like the roaches, like the big tanks in front of you, like the scorpion tank. I even use it in there. I'm not sure if it will make a difference with the scorpion, but I know they can climb. I know they are good at escaping. I've never had it escape yet. So there we go. Thousands of giant oranges, and they can see. I've got some giant oranges. Yet again, I've never had an escapee. They're just not like, they're so chilled. I don't know, but that's just. We're lucky like that. If anything's going to escape, it's these ants in front of you, and they come out in the thousands. Normally when I'm like 100 odd miles away from home as well, and the wife's just on her own, and they come tumbling out. They make a new nest in whatever's close. Currently on top of them, we've got the mantis enclosure, which obviously is a fairly new addition, and we've got the new isopod enclosure, which obviously is a new addition. So we're going to see how it goes. They haven't escaped for a while. They have no need to. They've got more than enough space, especially now I've changed the lighting, so it's not so the growth rate of this tank was absolutely insane. But now I've changed the lighting. It shouldn't be so aggressive. Should have more time between having to do cutbacks, which means they've got more time to expand their nest before it gets overtaken in space and they can't build things in and out of it again. Their nest is absolutely huge now. It probably measures about probably 2/3 of a foot, like across the back of the tank. It is large, and it comes forward quite a lot as well. So there's so many ants in there. It's absolutely crazy. So I have the same problem with my Tanzanian pink legs. They love escaping. See, the only thing I'm worried about is if I do start getting escapees, the missus is not going to let me get a tarantula, is she? But like I say, we never really get escapees. Occasionally, we're more likely to find actually there's a Lasius niger on us, right? And that's because they run around our kitchen. They come in from the outside. This year, we've actually been pretty lucky. Last year, they worked their way into the tank in front of you. They didn't last long. Obviously, they couldn't get back out, so the world has got absolutely decimated by the Polyrhacus dives. And this year, I think we've only found a couple. It's not been like last year and the year before where it was just streams. This year, they've kind of learned their lesson, been like, no, we're not even going to go in there. Let's just not. And there's been a few, but, that's probably more likely where you're going to... If there's a Lasius niger in this room, I know it's from them and not one of my colonies, because all my Lasius nigers are in the ant corner. This is the other ant corner, so completely different. Let's have a little look, because my things keep escaping. I'm not allowed anything dangerous. Yeah, don't get a centipede. My God. Cyanide millipedes have not escaped yet, so that's a result. So many snails and slugs. Snails and slugs, now they do work their way straight through the talcum powder. Talcum powder? Is that right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying, the talc and alcohol rubber mix, whatever, that stuff, they go straight through it like a train. Doesn't affect them at all. Gives them a little mustache. They look quite funny, especially if you get a picture at the right angle. Makes them look super hilarious. But they just go straight through it. So I won't recommend keeping ants and snails together, because they just destroy the barrier and then your ants get straight out. You microtape any holes for slugs. Yeah, okay, that's a good idea, because then obviously it's still breathable, isn't it? We did have a slug in this tank, as you know, or I think you knew. It didn't last long. It literally appeared one night, and by the next night it was being eaten by the Polyrhacus dives. I don't know how it got in the tank. I don't put anything new in this tank apart from food. Sometimes I'm sure bugs just work their way in from outside. I know the ladybugs last year were from outside. They managed to fly their way in. But obviously, it's lit up. It's a heat source. If that's the sort of thing bugs are attracted to, they're going to go towards it, So I don't blame them, to be honest. I don't blame them at all. I would probably do the same if I was a bug. I'd definitely be looking for... and it's water as well. It's humid. There's sources of water to drink. It's a great environment. If I was a bug, I would want to live in that tank. But again, yeah, thank you, Antisocial, for saying that. Listening to me, I try to be entertaining, even when it is just me talking absolute rubbish. I think most like 3.5 hours I've talked absolute rubbish on my own on one of these streams. And some people actually have stayed and listened to it all. It's absolutely amazing. So those people know who they are, and they are phenomenal for listening to me ramble for so long. But I try to be entertaining. I'm not always successful. I always have a long list of stuff in front of me to try and talk to you about and keep it going. But I'll be honest, I've completely ran out of stuff about half an hour ago. So I'm just going completely off my head at the minute. The trick is to just have interesting stuff to talk about. I mean, it would be too easy to sit here and wait for a conversation to start, if you know what I mean. Too easy. So yeah, I'm going to start the conversation. But the other thing is, I'm always super excited. Like, if I've got something going on, I can't keep secrets, so that normally comes blurting out. I'm like a little kid. I start jumping up and down, and I've got to tell you every detail of my life story, So there's always something to talk about with me. But thank you for listening and appreciating the streams. We do this every Wednesday, every Sunday. Normally we have a guest who we interview. It lasts for about an hour. We get guests from all over the world in all sorts of different kind of pet industries. We get like aquatic people, we get reptile people, invert people, ant people. We get it all. I don't really say no to many people, you know. I really like to experience everything and see what everyone's got to say. Spiders, wow, so many spiders we've had lately. It's been really interesting. So yeah, we try and do it all the time. And then after the chat show, we tend to do an hour or two of me. Not after the interview, we tend to do an hour or two of me doing this chat show where I just talk absolute nonsense for quite a while normally. But yeah, it's good fun. I love doing it. I'm really passionate about doing it. I enjoy talking to everyone and enjoy the community vibe that we've got going on. Everyone in the community is absolutely phenomenal. They're all the kindest people in the world. We only promote kindness here. If you've got anything bad to say, keep it to private PMs or whatever, or just don't bother saying it, because what's the fun in that, you know? Let's, like, I always keep everything fun, friendly, and happy. We're happy to chat about pretty much anything because we're all nerds here. Talk about Star Wars as much as we want. Just don't go political, religious, or offensive is pretty much the only rules that I stick to. And obviously the swearing thing. I try not to swear before 10 o'clock because we do get some younger viewers as well. Family viewers, you know. I love catering for the younger viewers. To be honest, I think they're so important to get into the hobby. Like, I would give my arm and leg if it took it. You know what I mean? It's so important to involve the younger community. Yeah, thank you, Katrina. The community, yeah, absolutely amazing. It's fun every time I do the stream. Every time. Sometimes we have 20, 30 viewers. Sometimes we have, like now, just 2 or 3. We've got 4 at the moment. We're not currently broadcasting on Twitch either. We are on Facebook and YouTube at the minute, and it will become a Spotify podcast on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple. So it's pretty much everywhere. We normally broadcast on Twitch as well, but I've taken a step back from Twitch because we are redesigning the page. We're doing a little bit of an update on it, and then we're going to go back onto Twitch, hit it hard, and see how far we can get. Because we're on like 40, 42, 46, something like that. Followers. If you get to 50 with a certain amount of people which watch all the time, then you become affiliate and so on and so forth. So we're going to try and hit that benchmark when it comes around. Really super fun. It would be great to hit that benchmark. YouTube's really interesting, right? So I gain like quite a few subscribers pretty much every day. It's really, really fantastic. But I lose just as many. Now I do have a few theories as to why. And I'm sure a few of my people in my community can guess as to why certain people have chosen to leave our community. I don't know. But we're better without them, I suppose. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm gaining, like, I got to 530 subscribers the other day, and then it dropped down to 521. Then it went back up to 532. Now it's at like 528 or something. So it's up and down all the time. It's absolutely fine. Like I say, I don't mind. It's fine. But it would be nice to hit that 1,000 and then go further. So we're gonna aim to get a bit higher later in the year, but we're not too bothered about the YouTube and stuff right now. My main focus is the exhibition. That is the aim of the game at the moment. Good evening, Zach. Yeah, these are my ants. These are Polyrhacus dives, one of my many colonies. This one's numbering in a few thousand, probably around 4,000 to 6,000 ants live in this colony. They're currently eating about 40 waxworms. This is a massive multi-species vivarium, is what I call it. There's beetles, millipedes, ants, isopods, spiders, stick insects, springtails. What else? Vampire crabs. I can't even remember. There's loads of different stuff in this tank. Absolutely loads. So if you keep an eye on it, you never know what might come across the screen. Quite often we see a crab run across the screen, just like a flash of lightning, because they're super fast, like faster than you'd ever imagine a crab to be. You know what I mean? You kind of think of a crab, and they're like twaddling along on the sand or what. Not these crabs. They run through the forest like little bolts of lightning. And he got red claws, which look really cool as well. But speaking of the crabs, right? So the babies that have happened. What am I talking? The babies we have, right? They haven't got any color on them at all, which means they are browns, right? We had 3 adult crabs to start with. We had Mr. Krabs, and I can't remember the name of the other 2. Mr. Krabs is really bright and colorful, absolutely stunning with the way he looks. He's not out at the minute, otherwise I'd show you him. And then we've got another one that's colorful that was smaller than Mr. Krabs, and then we've got the female, or the other one, that's a brown. Now the brown is due to genetic, not deformities, but they've basically inbred to the point where they haven't got any color left. And that one turns out to be the female that Mr. Krabs was breeding with, and it's given off all brown babies. They're all brown. They've all got no color on, even though they are getting quite large now. The other day I saw Mr. Krabs, the mother brown one, which I can't remember her name, Tamatoa, that's it. And there was Merlin as well, wasn't there? And then there was 4 of the younger ones all in the pond at the same time. So there was like 6 crabs just like knocking about in the pond at the same time. It was amazing. I don't normally see that many at once. You normally see 1 or 2. And actually, just before I started up the stream, I was having a look in the pond, as you do, and there was Mr. Krabs, and he grabbed something. I was like, oh no, what's he doing now? And he grabbed one of the smaller crabs, and he was either mating with it or trying to kill it, one or the other. You can't really tell the difference, but they did break apart in the end, and everything seemed fine. They went their separate ways. Wasn't it Tamatoa and yeah, no, it's not Tamatoa. Yeah, Tamatoa from yeah, that one. You know what I mean? Yes, it was Tamatoa. We had Tamatoa, Merlin, and Mr. Krabs. Yeah. When would be the best time to add a second outworld, or would it be best to get my colony to move a formicarium? 100 workers. Their current outworld is fairly large, tubs and tubes set up, but when they're all out foraging, it does seem space is getting small. So maybe could attach a second outworld via tube. Yes, now that is really interesting. If it in a tubs and tubes setup, I always say, no matter what the setup, I always say go with what you feel is right. Right? Some people like it that they can look at an outworld and it is absolutely heaving with ants, absolutely like everywhere, up walls on the floor. You can't see the floor through the ants. Some people like that. Whereas I'm sort of the opposite. I like to give them ample space so it kind of looks more natural. Like you might not even see an ant unless you are looking for, you know what I mean? But that's just me. So I always say, do what feels right for you. If you feel that it's getting a bit cramped, yeah, give them a second outworld. Attach it via a tube. It won't take long for them to find it. I always offer food whenever I give a new piece of home or equipment or where, you know what I mean, a new outworld. Always offer food in that new outworld. Begin feeding from there quite regularly, if not all the time. And they'll get used to it and start using it more and more, and it will become a second home for them. You know, if you only put food in it occasionally, I find they'll tend to like stop using it as much. Sometimes not. Sometimes they'll take advantage of all the space. But if you're still feeding them near the tubs and tubes setup or in the tubs and tubes setup, then that's where they'll continue being. You know. But yeah, definitely, if you want to add another outworld, do it. Don't go oversized because too much space can intimidate them. But I'm sure you know all of this. You've got them to 100 workers and you seem to know what you're talking about. I will always say, give them plenty of test tubes inside of the tub. You can't go wrong giving them 2 or 3. End of the day, they're either going to drink it, ignore it, or live in it. So, you know what I mean? I always like to offer quite a few different test tubes in that space. Just to get, and I think what I found as well, and I found this quite interesting. I'm going to be talking to at the exhibition. We've got the lead lecturer from the Bristol University Biosciences Department. She's come in and she knows so much interesting stuff about ants. I'm going to be asking her if this is actually something that's common. But I found if you offer multiple water sources, then their growth rate slightly speeds up. And I'm guessing that's because they know they've got ample supplies. They know they've got different resources coming in from different places. So it's a little bit more encouraging to go, yeah, we can bolster the numbers now. You know, we don't have to worry so much. Because if you've only got like 10 workers and if you've got 100 workers and you've only got one place to get water, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of an issue. If you've got 100 workers and you've got 2 or 3 places to get water, then you're a little bit like, yeah, we've got like wiggle room here. But I'm going to be speaking to Natalie about I'm going to be speaking to her about that. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I think a second outworld will happen soon. Currently, they have the nest tube and a water tube. Yeah, absolutely fine. I mean, 2 tubes is more than enough. I like to give 3 or 4, but that's just because I'm like that. I'm guessing they're quite a small ant if they're at 100 workers and they've only got 2 tubes, one as a nest tube and one as a water tube. So probably Myrmeciruba, I'm guessing. Possibly, let us know what species it is, but I'm going to say possibly Myrmeciruba. Maybe Lasius niger. What have you got? Let's have a little chat about them. If you need any help, Lasius niger, absolutely awesome species. If you need any help, anything, just give me a message anytime on any of my social media or my website. I haven't even changed the banner. I should change the banner, shouldn't I? Boosh, there we go. An hour late. There's the website. Give me a message anytime. I'll help you out as much as I can. I've got loads of information I can, look, I'll help you any way I can. But yeah, Lasius niger, absolutely awesome species. Obviously really common here in the UK, but they are still one of my favorite species. I've got several colonies myself and I love them. My largest colony is probably around 500 workers. And to be honest, they're not even mine. They're my daughter's. She absolutely kicked my butt in the colony race. We started at the same time with 10 workers in a test tube, and hers got to like a few hundred, where mine probably got about 100 workers now, but she's absolutely smashed it to pieces. She's doing really well with her Mesobarbarus as well. They're expanding really well. In the Paul Moore nests that we do sell on the website, if you're interested in them, check out the video that we did a couple of weeks back. They're really great nests. We did a cool video where we did the unboxing and built it and then put the ants in it. Mesobarbarus are in it. So check that out. And like I said, it's a great colony. We do a great formicarium that we do sell on the website as one of the UK suppliers for Paul and Moore. Obviously a Canadian ant shop. Also, Flavus colony. Oh, Flavus, absolutely stunning, beautiful, cute little ants. Here in this community, we love Lasius flavus. Not a massively appreciated ant, massively underappreciated in my opinion. I think they're awesome. They're really super cute. I like the way. I like the fact they live underground because you can use that. Some colonies do better in the sort of formicariums that we build, some do better in natural formicariums, and they are definitely one that does better in a natural formicarium where they can dig, let's be honest. And I love that because there are natural formicariums out there that you can use to that. The Lasius niger are in a T-shaped formicarium, and that being the upper section is the outworld, and the middle section, the lower section, the T, or, the bit, is actually filled with sand. It's just a thin sandwich, and it's like sand and clay mix. Don't collapse. I've never had any collapse issues. And they dig in there, and you can see all the tunnels and the chambers, and it's so cool. The Lasius flavus, absolutely stunning ant. Like I say, they do amazing like that. If you have, and the fact they're polygamous as well, you can have multiple queen Lasius flavus, which is always cool. So do that, put them in a natural formicarium. You'll see all the different queens in all the different chambers. Oh, what an experience that is. There's nothing quite like that. And quite a lot of ants might take a while to get to that sort of stage. Whereas Lasius flavus, they will dig and dig and dig and dig. It is what they are built to do, is build those amazing chambers and nests. So yeah, and to be honest, like, they've got some really interesting nest shapes as well. Every ant species makes their nest slightly differently, and some of them are really interesting. Some of them are boring. Some of them are just like straight lines. But some of the ants have really cool, interesting ant nest kind of shapes underground. Now, I know, one second, I'm just having a drink of Relentless. Again, don't drink Relentless, it's bad for you. So yeah, some in other countries they pour like molten metal into old ant colonies that have died and moved off, or whatever, and they wait for it to set, and then they dig it out, and it looks like a cool Christmas tree. I would definitely use it as a Christmas tree. Very cool. If you haven't seen that before, you should definitely check it out. It's all over YouTube, I'm sure. Is it possible to buy another Flowerless Queen on its own, and will no, right? So if you've got workers already, you can't add another queen. That's pretty much all. Not all, but most ant species, if they've got workers, you cannot add another queen. Some people again will debate that and say, oh, you can put them in the fridge or do this and do that. I just outright say don't do it, because if it goes wrong, they'll slaughter each other. It's generally a massacre. If there is no workers, that is when you can do it, because the minute they get workers, those workers get the pheromone scent from their queen, and anything that hasn't got their pheromone scent, especially another queen, will be killed. Whereas if the two queens are there, then they get the pheromone scents from both queens, mix it together to make their own sort of pheromone scent, as they would. And that's, yeah, so it's once those workers arrive and that pheromone scent becomes the colony scent, if you know what I mean, that is known and recognized, then it's pretty much a no-go, in my opinion. But again, other people will disagree with me, and I'm more happy for that, but that's my opinion on the matter. Really interesting. That ant managed to get out of the spider web, and the spider looks really sad. But I wouldn't want to be eating a Asian bullet ant if I was a spider from the UK. I would probably be like, what did you put in front of me? This is like some kind of foreign snake. I don't know. I'm kind of imagining that Indiana Jones scene where he gets handed the like monkey's brains. Like, what have you given me? I'm going to eat it, but I don't know what it is. I'm not that fussy when it comes to food. Brilliant. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I was just thinking, like, I should say again, if anyone wants a game of Worms, I am well up for a game of Worms on the Xbox at some point. You're more than welcome to send me a private message on any of my social medias, and find my gamer tag, and we'll have a game of Worms. I am kicking everyone's butt at the minute. No one can beat me. I haven't lost a game since getting the game, and that was quite a while ago. And I'm getting really big-headed because I want someone to come challenge me, basically. I'm not normally that big-headed. But yeah, I am unbeatable to everyone. And yeah, that's how it. One can beat me. I'm unbeatable. But yeah, on a serious note, if you want a game, I also play Battlefield 5, I think it is. I don't know, the World War II one. That one's a cracker. Give me a little PM or whatnot. We'll have a great bit of fun. If you've got anything else to say, please do put a comment in now. I'm more than happy to sit here chatting for however long that we've got stuff to chat about. But if not, I will be heading toward a few minutes. But please do ask any questions, comments, anything at all. If you want to know about the exhibition, ask your questions. But again, I make it clear that list of vendors should be out real soon, all the finalized vendors. If you haven't got your ticket yet, grab your discount code. I'll see if I got a banner about the discount code. I don't think I've got a banner with the discount code at the moment, but I shall make one for the next stream, and obviously that would take £5 off your thing. But you're more than welcome to again personal message me, and I will give you the discount code so that you can get your tickets for the exhibition. It's only like 50-60 days away. I'm not sure, about 60 days away, not far now, and it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. But if there is nothing else to talk about, no questions from anybody, I feel like I'm at an auction and I'm waiting for the last bids to come in. Final orders, I'm gonna ding ding. I'm kind of tapping my can right now, but it's not making a ding. You know what I mean? I think I did have a bell somewhere, but I'm gonna have to sort of bell and kind of say final orders. But yeah, you know where to find me. If you want to chat, I will be on social media until I fall asleep at whatever time that may be. My brain is in work. It's probably not going to be till late tonight. Find me on all the social medias. We're on Twitch, Twitter, Discord, YouTube, TikTok. We've got the website. I can't remember them all, but we're pretty much everywhere. Send me a message. I'm always about. I always fancy a chat, and I chat for England. What's the biggest food you would colonies? That's a great question, Kat. This colony in front of you can easily devour mice. Can eat most things, to be honest. But I don't generally do large. As you know, I've done quite a few pinkies to this one. This colony in front of you can destroy 3 whole pinkies in a day. Don't even be the bones, because that pot thing will come out of the way. Over there. How much is that? Oh, hang on. There we go. How much of that did we actually hear? Because I noticed it started cutting out at one point. I was just saying, this tank in front of you can actually eat 3 whole pinkies and devour a whole lot in a day, because the bones and whatnot would get eaten by the isopods as well. They eat quite a lot. But I don't know what's just happened with the technology. It's all started doing echoes around me. That's about typical, isn't it? So I am going to end the stream. Like I say, you know where to find me if you need me. I will be there until I fall asleep. But message me anytime, any questions, any issues, just give me a message, and so on and so forth. A massive thank you to all the community signing in, being awesome, sending us comments and questions as you always do. Massive thank you to the Patreon supporters. We got Kat, Stacey, and Jason. You're all absolutely awesome people for supporting us in the way you do. And obviously a massive thank you again to the sponsor of the show, Answer Us. If you can't find what you want with me, go have a look on Answer Us website. He's got all sorts of interesting stock coming in all the time. I always say, have a look what he's got when you're doing your shopping, because he might have something you fancy. Either way, that's it for the night.
I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much, everyone, for signing in for another episode. We have got some really great interviews coming up in this season. I do promise it's not all going to be failures like tonight. So make sure you're tuning in every Wednesday, every Sunday, and we shall see you again very soon. But as always, from me, I will see you again soon, Ant fans. Good night.